right away. Dust 2, Dust 2, no, Mirage. I don't even know my mops apparently, but the pistol round comes out right away as the two teams go head to head.
Well, as we head into Dust 3.5, it's going to be Headhunters taking control of the B bomb site. They've already lost a member in the attempt. Oh, that was a bit sloppy.
But in they go, Coolio onto that catwalk position. Of course, they've taken over multiple flanks. Is that the bomb? Okay, no, hasn't. Oh, okay, never mind. I saw something on the map and I thought it was a bomb for a second, but it's not. The bomb is being planted. XD does deliver. Aaron, quick back at it again, but no. Budapest 5 down to 1-on-2, and it's down to Corey. Can't quite find the shots, reloads, and somehow is still alive. Has to deal with the final two. XD and Supplic on either sides of his angles, but XD is the man to find that headshot. And Headhunters, well, they hunted heads and they find themselves the first round.
There's something very special about someone entering a tournament with the name XD.
You know what? I respect that though. I really do. Because I use XD in like every second sentence I write on.
Yeah, but it has to be the lowercase XD. Listen.
True. Mine is
XD,
always the lowercase XD.
Cringe.
Yeah, no.
Lowercase XD, acceptable. X,
right.
capital,
okay.
D, lowercase, that's ideal.
EXD? So like X Warrior, but instead it's like XD?
Sorry,
yeah,
man,
maybe
you're
not,
getting
maybe
kicked
not.
out.
Okay, fair enough.
Stop trying to make a staple of internet culture your own brand. You can't get to market yourself here.
No, definitely can't right now, but look at this. Budapest 5 with somewhat of an investment to work with. On they go towards short. Corey there with a scout, not quite the headshot he would like. But Headhunters, that's some information relayed over. I think he spotted out 2 or 3 heads in that regard. Jumps over, spots out another. They cross towards short, and that's the call given over to the rest of Budapest 5. Smoked off. Now he has no information. Metzel from short. Corey delivers with his own scout, but how more can he deliver? Metzel repositions. One behind the left side of the smoke. Delivers with a headshot. Now Metzel ends up dying with Supplic's headshot, but is a 3v4, and Budapest 5 is quickly falling one after the other. Coolio, there's no way they know he's here. That could be ever so deadly. Oh no, that's not what he wants. He wants a finishing blow. Aaron re-swings, and that is another finishing mark onto one of the players, and it's down to a 2-on-2. It's ever so close. 30 seconds. Corey does make his presence known towards market, but they haven't played time correctly. And Headhunters, they get themselves a second.
Is Budapest 5 going to end up struggling against Headhunters? That'll be very impressed if that's the case. But in the meantime, while we go through a little timeout, you can go ahead and check out ceechampions.com/giveaway. There's a lot of cool intel, Mars. There's a bunch of CSGO skin, a bunch of games, a mice, keyboard, headsets, the whole lot. And if you're listening to this intel, come on, drop me a cute little i9 11900K. Just contact me. Let me know.
You sneaky
Somebody
man.
from Intel's headquarters just listening to this, and he's like, yeah, no shot.
No, absolutely not. Not after the XD jokes. Yeah, no, I think the XD jokes were more my fault than yours. But I take you down with me. That's how it goes, right? That's how this duo ship.
Yeah, now that'll only get
works.
me an i3.
Oh, that is sad. Unfortunately.
What if it's an i3 in the box of an i9? That'd be sneaky.
Well, that's even more sad because then they're teasing you. That's like a tease, and that's not nice to tease someone. Anyway, in that regard, let's have a look. Headhunters, they're shown good confidence. Don't know. I just happened to yawn mid-sentence. I do apologize about that. I had no control over it. My body just decided, hey, let's interrupt you for a second. And it looks like Budapest 5 have also been interrupted because that's a quick 3-0 by Headhunters.
I like how their logo is just the most low effort thing you could imagine. Just go ahead and pick up the default headshot logo from CSGO, but it's also very on brand for someone called Headhunters.
Right? I mean, I think it's the best logo you could go for. But right now, Budapest 5, obviously, need to find their way back into this. With weapons to work with, this could be similar to how we saw the second round being played out. Very, very close. And the first. Not too far off in that regard. Good positioning there from Coolio. So he will easily be able to relay information in case of an aggressive push. They've also stacked up against Ramp. It is Aaron to bounce back from that very greedy positioning from them. But then now they realize that there's mid opening for them more. AWP at hand, 2 players right up in front of him, 1 minute on the clock, so Headhunters may need to make the decision quickly. Aaron still holds his ground, does show himself on that position, and all of a sudden Metzl needs to face up against the jungle player. He also needs to face up against XD, and there he goes. Max now on the other side. Can't quite find the right shot. It's all down to timing, and Metzl has the best of it. Again, what is that name? I got confused with it. Oh, Zorid. How do you pronounce it? I'm sorry. I'm making a fool out of myself. But more. Again, with the AWP, shuts down the final player, and Budapest 5 find themselves on the board.
Zori, I'm sorry. You've got 2 fewer kills than the man on the other side, and his name is Corey. Woo!
No, that didn't work for us. That didn't work. As much as I'd love to give that to you, just didn't. But is it Zorid? Ziored. Ziored.
I have no idea.
Jorid? Jorid sounds nice.
Mm-hmm. So when are we working on that mixtape, Pavlos?
When we actually are talented enough to have a successful mixtape. Unless we just want to keep on trying until we succeed and
the good old infinite monkeys, infinite typewriters.
Yeah. This is strong from Headhunters having the numbers advantage, but now they push it in. They don't take any other chances. They're going to rush directly into it, and Coolio's taking it off guard. Now that's B-site control with a bomb planted. Budapest 5, they're locked on the other side of it.
They're not even going to try to go for it, will they? I mean, they're inside market. One of their members can't even help him out up until he takes 2 duels in apartments. No chance. Right now, they're considering the best avenue to make sure they get away with all of their weapons alive. Levy, not willing to go for an early duel. Aaron, oh, he even had the shot there. Mazorid makes very quick work of him. Headhunters are actually doing such a phenomenal job on the terror side, and I'm not exactly sure what's missing from Budapest 5 just yet. Now, you could say that, yes, they miss an entire player because they had a recent roster shuffle, but... What do you want to see differently?
What I want to see differently? I mean, I don't think I've seen too much of this game yet to kind of figure out how this game should be played, right? I think the quick switch of pace from Headhunters has been great, so it's been very difficult for Budapest 5 to adapt to it. But honestly, they've shown some early mid-aggression, but I think keeping things simple is a way to go for now. Try and play some simple Counter-Strike, not get too greedy with your positionings, and it probably will work out, because we know the Budapest 5 players are very, very talented. The Hungarians definitely have shown us before that they can play to a high level, and Headhunters haven't quite shown us this potential so far. So Budapest 5, if they play normal Counter-Strike, they should be able, statistically, to make things work. But as I do say that, they do aggress towards mid, so that's where they lose out, and they've only got 2 players to work with now.
The problem overall for Budapest 5 is obviously that yes, they've got a strong core. They've got Coolio, they've got Corey, but they're missing 3 of the members that they've gotten a lot of practice with. Aaron's only been on the squad for, I believe it's been a month. And if you look at the other 2 players, they've just joined the squad. So if anything, this is a chance for them to get some practice in officials. Headhunters, on the other hand, I think they've done their homework.
Does seem to be the case. I mean, we've seen how easy it was for an Amiga to drop the ball, right? They did manage to get the victory in the end, but Fate seem to have done their own homework. So if you're playing against teams that have a lot of registered matches, it's so much easier to do your prep. But on the other side, you know, Budapest 5, they thought they'd be facing up a simple opponent so far. Corey, here. The dink, ooh, Levy Rent, what a shot. Starflick as well, looks for the shot and chimes in for one of his own. Headhunters They're keeping things going, and actually, if you're Budapest 5, you need to start getting scared.
I talked a little bit about how I expected it to be one-sided, but that's not the case at all, Pavlos. I have a question for you. After the M4A1S buff, would you pick it up on the terrorist side over your AK?
No, absolutely not. AK-47 is still better. One tap, one kill for the headshot. That's as clean as you want it. I don't think I switch any
Do you
time.
think there's any value to be found in being able to spray through smokes without being found? I think terrorist positioning is a lot more predictable anyway, so I don't think it matters.
No, I don't think it really matters that much. It depends how you want to play a specific round. I mean, if you obviously have a choice in front of you to play up against the smoke and you've got an M4A1S right in front of you, then you're going to pick that up, right? But I think it's just too niche of a situation, really. So I don't think you really want to go for that most of the time.
But Headhunters, they got most of their efforts routed towards the ace side. They only have, Budapest 5 only have Corey on the defense, and with Levy starting to chime in from connector, this is going to be a tough-ass Corey. Gets a lot of info early on, and they've actually not managed to get any info at all, as they've allowed the timer to run down to 40 seconds. So right now, Headhunters need to get a bit desperate. Soplic and Levy, though, they've opened up two different avenues of approach.
The next man to be contested now as Headhunters look to move in. Should be simple, right? He's only got a deagle. Surely there's not much he can do here more, is there? Oh, no. Yeah, the shots aren't going his way, are they? Can't quite bend bullets like Lollipop could that previous game. Levy. Will fall victim to Corey, but other than that, I'm assuming this round is going to Headhunters. It is a 1v2. Still a doable scenario. Corey, with his knife in the air, he knows exactly what he wants to do with this, but Max, with the audio cues given over to him, knows exactly what he needs to do with that himself. So Headhunters, they keep things going and they're looking scary.
Do you think it's going to be a one-sided game from Headhunters out of all things? They're doing such a good job at playing Mirage in a dynamic way that Budapest 5 are simply not expecting. I actually don't like it when teams throw a Molotov like this, because it still allows Headhunters to get a fair bit of information. Instead, there's a narrower Molotov that you can throw at the front of the ramp itself, and that denies a fair bit of info. But Corey, looking very solid with his aim, nice and crispy, to get an uncontested kill. No trade to be available.
That's what Budapest 5 need, right? Those little instances of victories, little by little, scratching away on the T side attack. Of course, Headhunters looking to switch things up by double bucking now towards mid. Triple stacking. Or rather, now in this instance, with the smoke going deeply into connector, that buys them some space. Smoke also available in that window angle, therefore, they could move into it without giving any information towards Budapest 5. You can see Aaron also wondering where they could be coming from, but they're taking this very slow. And with the smoke dissipating, and if Aaron wants to go for this, Headhunters really could have an advantage, but they use an extra molly with the smoke fading out on connector. They've really wasted a lot of time here. Thankfully for them, extra utility available. They managed to cross through connector towards short, excuse me, without too much information given over. Coolio expects them. One shot does get exchanged, but not the killing blow. Coolio spray down. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Mesdal not quite showing his ground. There you go. Spray down from two different positions. Sprays onto Catwalk. It's going to be the killing mark onto XD. And Budapest 5, they managed to finally get another game.
Another game, another round, who's counting? Up until I see them actually looking dominant on the CT side, I'm not going to give them too much credit. Now, Pavlos, I do really like how Budapest 5 are still able to get around based off of firepower, but I'm not personally a big fan of their approach. They're unable to get early mid control. They're really unable to contest it. Headhunters, they seem to have free reign all over mid. They can even nestle a player into short without any contest, and that's a big question mark for me. Because if you're a seasoned team, even if you've got only 2 members of your core from a team that used to be tier 2, I would expect mid control to be top notch. And I think they're switching up their pace a little bit now. Boost up, information relayed, have to back off.
Aaron, good instance for him. Victorious in that regard, and Budapest 5 continue with the way they've been going the first few kills. Mestal, Everyren didn't quite know where he was hiding. For that reason, Budapest 5 still holds strong on both ends, polarizing the lineup 2 per site. Headhunters easing up towards B. If they don't drop a single player, this could be doable. Of course, with the timing being given over, now rotations can be initiated on the Budapest 5. Mestal, 2 quick, clean kills go their way. Budapest 5, they've been able to scramble up a few in a row.
Is this the calm before the storm? Is this the storm brewing now? Budapest 5 have to show us a little bit more promise, but I'm still a big fan of their adjustment. They've sent a player into connector. They've started to pitch in their efforts towards short. Now, having a player in short, having a player in connector, of course, that's going to allow you to have control of mid. So that's something they've started to focus on. This round, however, I mean, we are expecting it to be a bit of a throwaway. And by the way, I've noticed that ever since the M4A1S got buffed, equal rounds are so difficult to win for the terrorist side. I feel like not being able to immediately get information on where you're getting shot from when you already only have pistols, it has made things very difficult.
For us, would you get to the point where you'd want to switch things up again for the M4A1S? Do you think it's just too overpowered now?
I don't think it's overpowered, but that's actually a very good question. I think the T side inherently, based off of the advantages it has off of the economy, it's a bit overpowered in itself. So buffing the M4A4, if anything, would probably be the right thing to do. So you still have a choice between how you play this game. But yeah, I still do expect an M4A1S nerf regardless, knowing how Valve is.
During this conversation, though, with the mid push being less than fruitful for Headhunters, Budapest 5 find themselves in a position 2 men's up. A little bit more damage to go with that as well. Aaron, no one's checking this corner. This could be a free kill on 2. Sorry, Red. Or checking up connector now. Budapest 5. They managed to spot up the bomb here. Could be everything for them. Limited in utility, Headhunters, this is their final countdown for a push. Flash being thrown, they need to go for this. Corey in towards ramp. Moore delivers on his hand. Corey does bounce back with his own, and Moore doubles it up. And Budapest 5, 1 round away from the equalizer.
They look pretty different as a team now, and could it be Headhunters' initial brilliance falling through? Could it be Budapest 5 making changes? I think the latter is true for sure. They've changed up their mid-aggression. Just having additional information towards the mid-area has entirely changed how they're able to pivot their opper, and also take advantage of one-way smokes to position the M4A1S better. And I'm just getting so tongue-tied right now. I have no clue, Pavlos, what's going on. But yeah, what I was gonna say is that their mid-game play right now, it's looking pretty solid.
Yeah, it's looking a lot better than it did before. Of course, the rounds that they did lose, they were very, very close. Headhunters, after being composed the first few rounds, now seem to have lost all control. Early kill also helps them out in that endeavor, but Meslo also softened up. Could be a cleanup with one deagle shot. What a swing, Max. What a kill. That's what you need to enter. Corey on the back flank. XD deals with him nicely from a long distance. And now it seems like Headhunters have a charge. Suplik with another deagle. These deagles have another name for a reason. They're hand cannons, and they're completely annihilating Budapest 5 right now. Aaron, hot pursuit towards short with one player more over onto market. Incendiary to bait one out, but the smoke timing is just perfect. Headhunters, they've retrieved the rifle into the hands of Max, making things ever so difficult for Budapest as the Hungarians want another extra piece of this pie. Headhunters just say no, it's all ours, and they're just gonna devour it whole.
Now 1 round away from solidifying their dominance within this half. I still think that Budapest 5 have done enough to save themselves when it does eventually get down to the T side, but Headhunters, they've looked dominant enough for me that I have a lot of faith they'll be able to pull something off similar in the CT side, especially when they don't have to take initiative. Early molly, smoke, a couple of flashes, very heavy utility investment towards ramp, and it's a bit surprising that they do that. I would have liked to see more attention on mid, but it seems like this is going to work out for them. Having Aaron play close to the smoke, allowing himself to get the benefit of vision when it eventually fades, and Headhunters being perfectly situated to end up going to A, Budapest 5, their players are lined up in the right trajectory.
Aaron, good shot onto Max. Now 3 left from Headhunters. HE grenade for the long distance. Does go wide. Aaron tries to play on Gandalf, but it just doesn't work. In they go. Damage all around. Headhunters still stand strong, but yet to find access towards the site. Corey shows his ground. It's a double kill. Damage onto a third, but more is the cleaning man calling the janitors. Budapest 5. They're able to get themselves back into winning ways.
I'm actually super happy to see that this has been a back and forth because, as I mentioned in the pregame, I talked a little bit about how tournaments like this one can truly be one-sided within the group stages, but so far, full points. I mean, Nemiga in their first matchup against Fate, it was a very close call. Once again, we're looking at these teams going neck and neck. So this is a group I love watching, honestly.
Absolutely, very eventful. Very close matches, and that's what you love to see in CEE Champions, where teams are not just playing for their organizations, they're playing for their countries. They want to prove that, well, national pride is on the line. Mesdal there on the backside, XD deals with him, and down to 3-on-3, Budapest 5. Locked out of the site, but still a doable affair. They need to come quickly because Headhunters, they've already put that bomb down. Not much utility lie within the arms of Budapest. Actually, that's a lie. Got a couple of HGs, a couple of smokes, but only one flash. And then you need flashes for takes like these yet to be thrown. Aaron does get chunked down. The HE grenade softens 2 up. Incendiary on the back line. That could be a kill onto 1. It's quickly being down to 2 HP. Zorid still holds his ground. Max from a distance cannot find anyone. Poor man. Zorid puts a bullet straight through his skull, and Headhunters, they guarantee they're ahead at halftime.
Do you think we'll see the same kind of excellence from Headhunters when they're actually on the CT side? It's a bit of a tough question, because obviously we don't have too much information on these players. We haven't seen them ever play a CT side at all, Pavlos. So it'll be very interesting, but as we head into the last round of the first half, utility won't be fully available for the CT side, although they are pretty close to it. And once again, they start deploying a lot of attention towards mid, having one in connector, having one in the mid window. Can he thread the needle here? Oh, nice shot onto XD. Even sacrifices a few pints of blood to be able to get that shot in. And Budapest 5, a few pats on the back will be going through for getting that early kill. It's not a luxury they've been afforded many times in the past. And Headhunters, they're the ones that have to scratch their heads here. for just a little bit as they reroute their efforts to a different bomb site.
Spicy kill at the start. But if
Mhm.
Budapest 5 want this to be a close endeavor, I will never get used to the fades being switched up. Never, absolutely ever. Levy, what a swing, and he may be able to double up. No, quickly traded out. So Budapest 5 still ahead, but I think it's a scenario we've seen one too many times. The B site being approached. One kill goes to the way of Mesdo, repositions on top of the smoke. Oh no, Suplik wants to go for a pre-fire. Doesn't quite work out, but Zorid, he's here to stay. 2 kills go its way, and now with a bomb going down onto the site, Budapest 5 needs to come in.
Can isolate both of these duels, but will they time it correctly? The nade telegraphs the position of one of these players. One in apartments, one in short, swings out. One tap doesn't connect, but he looks away at the wrong time, trying to find the player in apartments, trying to use his teammate as bait, or, yeah, using the player in short as bait, but it simply doesn't work out. Budapest 5,
Did you
they've
say
kept it as
uses
close
bait as
possible.
teammate?
Uses his teammate as bait.
Yeah, okay. I don't know why, but my brain processed it as he's used his bait as teammate.
Inputting,
Works like that. Works
processing,
seamless there as well.
mangling.
Maybe I thought you were speaking like Yoda for a second.
Thread the needle, he shall.
Indeed.
Watch the clutch.
And it's two
did.
8 to 7s in a row for us. We've had 2 games
No,
that
it was
have
9 to
gone...
6. It was 9 to 6.
Oh, you're right, you're right. But it was a 16 to 14 in the end, so pretty close.
Close enough. Budapest 5 taking a page out of the book of Headhunters, as they themselves also head over to the B bomb site to start things off.
Levy with the pistol. Lurking for those shots at the start. Budapest 5 do take a tactic out of the book of Headhunters, but add another chapter themselves as moving towards connectors the way to go. They do stick the bomb towards B, so it's a great obfuscation. They've completely faked it out. That is great stuff from Budapest 5. Headhunters, you've been played like a fiddle. Corey does shot down XD in that instance. Coolio makes sure that the A site is being challenged from Ticket Booth, and when he peeks out and spots out players, knows that the rotations has come in. Budapest 5 can pull the trigger towards the attack on towards the B side, with the kills going the way of Budapest 5. Either way, somehow, maybe Budapest 5 want to switch things up. Now they find out the B site's completely opened, and now Headhunters realize that the game plan was B this entire time.
Simply don't have enough HP to be able to get this retake. The Glocks will make it super difficult. And that was kind of brutal the way Corey did it, you know? Just Ferrari peeking him.
Resume.
Oh, I blinked. I missed it.
Equalizer. How about that? I mean, yeah, it was 9 to 6 the previous map. Of course, Budapest 5 with this victory will make it more reminiscent of it, because I believe the team that was on the lesser rounds did win the pistol and therefore gained the advantage inevitably. And this could very much be the case again. Of course, Headhunters do spend all of their money investing in the pistols with the Deagles across the board. Definitely a difficult round for them to win, considering that Budapest 5 do have rifles to work with. But of course, you can't count out the Headhunters themselves. The men can completely quash skulls if given the opportunity.
Slow round. Budapest 5. They'll be taking their sweet time, lining up utility, one in connector, one into mid. Now, as Mestel heads up, he's going to be able to spot out Levy, who's trying to get cheeky with the smoke. And the top connector in CT smoke also allows them to have free mobility over towards triple. So they're not worried about CT. They're not worried about taking these initial duels. Instead, all they have to do is check the angles around Sandwich. And Suplik, having revealed his position, he's going to be quickly put in the frying pan as well.
I'm surprised the pistols are doing quite a lot of damage, but indeed it was the AK-47 picked up by XD that would get the killing blow onto the opponent's head. Now, one planted, things are looking difficult for Headhunters, but it's damage they're looking for, and so far with 2 kills, they may want to extend this damage further. Coolio crucial position for him. Merstol as well flashed out. Coolia needs to play it safe. The smoke will help them out in that regard. It's just a matter of timing into when they need to peek out from the smokes like this, and Coolia picks up the perfect time. But for their efforts, for their victory, they need to lose 3 players in the process.
This is still going to be a throwaway round coming out from Headhunters. Maybe we see a couple Deagles being thrown into the mix. I just said thrown into the mix, and I was reminded of those videos where people brutalize washing machines. Have you seen those, Pavlos? I think I've mentioned them before. You know where you throw a brick inside it? Yeah, you throw a brick into a washing machine and it just goes blah, blah, blah.
Oh, you told me about that. You told me about that. You know, but when you said when you did say into the mix, you know what I thought about? That YouTube rewinds will no longer be the case, thankfully, because those were terrible. There will be no more. But right now, Coolio there to stay. Mac 10s across the board. Budapest 5 valiant entries, and now Headhunters need to be scared for their lives. Zorid from a distance does get chunked down to 67. Zorid flashed out, but more is there to stay. 2 kills go his way. Coolio wants another into his own bag, and Detour needs to take a detour because he just entered the wrong entrance. Budapest 5, double digits on the board for them.
This is where we get answers to the questions we were asking in the first half. How is Headhunters' CT side? Do we see bouts of aggression? Do we see a passive style of play? Because Budapest 5, unfortunately, didn't show too much aggression at all. I was a bit disappointed to see that. I thought they would be looking very dominant, more proactive, taking the bull by the horns, all of those good old proverbs. But Budapest 5, they're willing to take the battle towards B very quickly as well. Molotov doesn't quite get a chance to bloom because there's a smoke. Now Max, he's got a big task ahead of himself, gets a shot in, and even gets some extra damage in. But as they're moving on to the B bomb site, they still have a player to worry about.
They do indeed. An extra player in that regard. With a bomb going down, obviously they need to make this work. Coolio with the most, I think, crucial position in that regard, holding off apartments. I think he needs to come in time. The bomb, of course, I think planted for him as well. If need be, he'll be the final player to contest this. Good swing by Moore, putting themselves back into an equilibrium state. He repositions once more to gain an extra kill, and Corey simply picks up the other. They make it look too easy.
With the initial damage that Budapest 5 took and the hesitation I saw as they were getting the bomb down, I thought that Headhunters would be able to cover it. But now, you're looking at a Headhunters that will consistently be fighting for their lives against a dwindling economy. About 3,500 on average across these across the boys. You see Deagles being picked up. See if they can get a crack in the skulls of Budapest 5. A run boost being ready. Not like it's going to matter. Nobody's checking mid, man.
Yeah. Rookie mistake, perhaps. I guess maybe a bit of a gamble. I think they know Budapest 5 don't often go for these early mid plays, but I mean, they've got full weapon right now. They know that they're playing against a very hurt Headhunters side. Therefore, even though the team isn't very mid-reliant, obviously they're going to go for it every so often. I mean, it's Mirage after all, right? Mid control gives them control over the connector. Sure, it just opens up the map entirely. I guess, I don't know, Headhunters wanted to go for something more greedy this round. But Corey and Mesdal, they're just cleanups right now. Headhunters are just falling in front of their crosshairs. They do not lose a single member during that round. Budapest 5, flawless round for them.
Not only is it a flawless round, it's a flawless half so far. They've won 5 rounds in a row, and this is very reminiscent of the previous game we just saw. Where in Amiga Gaming, as soon as they switched over their sides, they continually kept threatening a fate over and over again with no response at all. But maybe Headhunters can also have a similar story. Maybe they can turn things around. If you see another close game, we're about to find out. Headhunters willing to take a lot more initiative as far as taking mid control is concerned. They have a 1-3-1 setup. One in short, one in connector, one scoping down middle. But I'm not sure if this is exactly the setup that the doctor ordered, because ideally getting information around ramp would be very important here.
Let's see if they can capitalize on this importance. Good timing for the molly there because Budapest 5 can't quite directly gain that contact. Of course, playing around utility here is a way to go for Budapest 5. Headhunters don't have too much of it. Of course, to wait another 30 to 40 seconds before they initiate their attack towards the site and go for more of a contact approach, they may have an advantage. And, even if they do take the sites, Headhunters be heavily weaker when it comes to retake. So they're doing things right now. Max spotted damage from the flames and a bullet. Detour, good angle to be held, but not quite the shots he would have wanted. Mesdor looking into the void as he dies. So Budapest 5, they may have been taking a gradual approach into this, but they've lost out on their jewels. They've been into the open for a little bit too long. Aaron can't quite win that, and more in the open once more. Finds the same fate as his fallen teammates, and Headhunters in return find a flawless round of their own.
Tactical pause from the side of Budapest 5. It's largely motivated by the potential of losing control of their economy, but that's really not a concern just yet. Moore, he's going to have 11k in the bag. Corey's looking pretty comfortable as well. And I like how Headhunters immediately go for a tactical timeout of their own as well, because they want to get a chance to discuss their strategy. Obviously, this is a very important game for them. Not quite life-threatening with regards to the tournament just yet, but the best of one after that, for sure. This is the first gun round they won, Pablos. And to keep this kind of momentum going is probably their game plan. I'm wondering if Budapest 5 are going to throw a wrench in the works just to see if Headhunter setup can be dismantled, especially because Headhunters have played a very mid-aggressive setup early on in the round, and having a site-heavy hit like an execute on A and execute on B, something along those lines is going to change, is going to have massive control here.
Leverin, good shot onto Corey, starting things off well for Headhunters, but right now Budapest 5 don't look like they want to slow down, using somebody to live their own, but look at Headhunters, already putting 4 players towards this bottom side of the map, and Zorid wins out on his trade. More aggressives, that's going to be 1 kill. Can he fight against Suplik? No. Suplik, damage onto the second as Mesdor is able to pick him up, down to a 2v3, things are more doable. Mesdor, up close and personal, do they expect him in this angle? Good shot, doubles it up, Mesdor, and salvages around for Budapest 5. 1-on-1 though, it's down to a duel, 3 kills into the back for Mesdor, while Max has only just entered the fray. What's interesting of this matchup, though, is that there's 1 minute plus remaining on the clock, and Mesdor can do with it as he pleases, inching a little bit closer to the spawn, and may find himself behind the back line of Max. Oh dear. The read is perfect. The full-on rotation, he doesn't expect it. He doesn't look for it. Max now, he's turned his back towards it. He's expecting him to perhaps jump towards jungle, but won't be spotting him. Mesdor has found his way onto the B site. He's completely bamboozled this. And he will get a clean plants. 35 seconds, and all of a sudden, Mesdor has a chance. Not only a chance, but a way to close out this game. Of course, I might not be getting ahead of myself so far, but look at this. Max has just realized they're entering market, but Mesdor, he doesn't need to show his ground just yet. It's all down to Max to figure out where Mesdor is hiding. If he can guess where he could be, he could be behind Van, but he needs to check things all methodically, and that buys so much time. I don't think he's even got a kit, so this makes things further problematic. Spotted out, needs to stick it. Should be a simple spray down. Mesdor just sprays down, and that's going to be the finishing blow. A 4-piece for Mesdor, and a clutch to put Budapest 5 back into winning ways.
I love the awareness on the man. Checks around for a bit, makes sure that it's not a fake defuse before he starts firing in, because he had eyes on where that potential defuse position was going to be. Man, it's really weird that Headhunters actually didn't quite have the setup to be able to counter what Budapest 5 threw at them. They didn't have a very aggressive A-heavy setup, but they were still able to come out on top in those duels. But regardless, Mestel, simply based off of individual frags, was able to bring the round together. So, Headhunters, bit unfortunate for them.
I mean, talking about unfortunate, I mean, you look at how Budapest 5 have been able to completely throw the ball right here, right? I mean, Moore might be picking up another kill here, but it's early pickings from Headhunters from, I guess, unexpected positions across mid, maybe tunnels as well, to catch them off guard. And that's damage onto Moore as well. So he's basically one shot away from any weapon, any way you look at it. So Budapest 5, even though they gained the advantage on a nail-bitingly close round, the previous one, this time around, they're not doing too good.
The jump spot will relay way too much early information, and with Budapest 5 lacking HP on Moore, it's going to be very difficult for them to get onto the B site. But 40 seconds remaining, it's not like they can change their mind now. Flashbangs do start coming in. XD on the AWP.
Good shot from Levy. Aaron ends up falling, but he dies to the flames. XD, though, there to capitalize with the AWP. Down to Moore, but he's just too quick. The man, as a face for a name, has just gotten the round into the favor of Headhunters.
By the way, I'm not sure if you noticed, but that name has finally been fixed.
Huh. Yeah, no, I kind of see it like every so often, you know, because like every single player apparently has a different name or nickname on the server when it comes to being logged in on Steam, and apparently like I guess the interface really doesn't quite translate that all the time. But yeah, so it gets a little bit confusing, especially playing in casting teams that we haven't really had a chance to cast before, right? Because we don't really know their names that much, and being so many of them in this tournament, it's just difficult to take advantage of. But look at this push coming out, but the Eagles do wonderful work. Mestel again clutching up for his team when they needed it the most, and this is just an eco round. Corey looks to chime in with the AKs collected, and now Detour with an AWP and an off angle to work with. Max on hot pursuit of the CT spawn, but I think Budapest 5 have done it. They've all recovered a rifle. They've all got something to work with. No way, not like this. Spray down, not even with armor, but Corey still is alive to tell the tale. XD, more like Detour, is able to find one, but I think he needs to run away because he's being sprayed down across the smoke. Not much health to work with. Has to fall back. Mesdal comes in from Chicken's Nest, and for that, it is 14-10. Budapest 5, 2 away from the grand victory.
If you compare it to the previous map, or the previous map / match, doesn't matter, it was a best of 1. We also saw a very similar scoreline from Fate before, or from Amiga before Fate were able to bring it close. But I don't really expect that from Headhunters just yet, especially with how Budapest 5 are able to get frags purely off of Mestel just fragging out. I mean, he's going 28-14 right now, just an absolute madman with regards to his performance. And am I the only one that doesn't have audio right now, Pavlos? Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can hear you, but I can't quite hear the game, so I think
God.
something happened to it. But yeah, I don't think we can see the players either in this instance. So I don't know how many players are alive. I know there's at least 3, 4 on the Budapest 5. There we go. Okay, maybe that was a replay that kind of went wrong, but that's okay. It happens. Detour, here's the man of 4 at the first. Not quite sure how that happened. Lost track of it. But it is Budapest 5 that may have an advantage to work with. Smoke out, sound is back. Levy, close by, flash out, looks away. Could be a good shot. Now the man with the eagle is the one to make the damage work in his team's favor. Of course, Mestel is there for the trade. It is going to make it further difficult for Budapest 5 to move in, but Coolio inching forwards from Palace makes sure that there's space for his team to get across. Suplik hasn't just been checked from Dark, but it looks like Budapest 5 has switched up their mind because Aaron has nested himself into Market, but not for long because Zori just manages to take care of him. So Budapest 5, they're going to be going in this blind.
3 members still alive and kicking for them. Rotation starts to come in. Oh no, Max, you were not supposed to miss those shots. He had to be the first one to connect. And now with the bomb going down, I fear for the longevity of Headhunters. Ziorid, He's already decided that he's going to start to join his teammate, backing off. Okay, they pick up double AWPs. They want to switch things up in the next round, but right now, Pavlos, they don't have too much of a runway to deal with. We're looking at 15 rounds guaranteed for Budapest 5.
And one away from closing things out on this best of one. You have to give kudos to Headhunters, right? They've done such a great job so far. I think the first half was where everybody got surprised. The difficult opponents they're up against, really. And if they haven't been playing at this caliber of play for too long, then it's difficult to show up. But it may be a little bit too much to ask for them right now to deliver 5 rounds in a row without faltering a single time, especially up against a roster like with the experience of Budapest 5.
Man, just no lifelines remaining right now. The next best one, what am I saying, best one? They're staring down the barrel of the next best of one, potentially. Very slow style of gameplay, but
standard setup here.
Yeah, very simple.
This is just like any other game that we play in matchmaking. Trying to line up smokes, count it down to the right timing, and start pushing in. Headhunters have realized this. Aaron keeping things simple by pushing out and getting a kill himself. Down to 6 HP though, needs to be careful. That nade could do a lot, but it's on the wrong side. Does splash them down, making them that much softer. 2-bit cleaned up by the rest of the rifles. Levy there with a spray down. That could have done damage as the smoke faded out, but Corey does manage to trade it back through. Suplik on the backside of the ticket brew. Storied is the one with AWP to do the damage. Suplik jumps above, and now it's down to a 2-on-2. They may want to choose to change the position, but Coolio holds on to his own ground. He's so down low, but still survives. Suplik so close. Coolio with 50 seconds to spare needs to be wary of this, but look at the wraparound. Suplik, this could be perfect, and there you have it. That's the bomb. Suplik can now play with time as the rest, well, it's just more, right? And he walked directly into the crosshair of Suplik, and Headhunters, they hold on.
Very nicely done by Suplik. I love how he had full control over his nerves as he was wrapping around to 1 versus 2, doesn't matter. And of course he doesn't have full information on how much damage has been delivered to Budapest 5 as well, so he was going into it fully expecting 2 healthy 1 versus 1s. And with the way he was positioned, he wouldn't have lost either even if they did have HP to work with. 4 rounds in between them and the overtime now. And perhaps it could be a bit easier if they can start to thwart the economy of Budapest 5 as well. 1 tucked into underpass. Aaron about to peek it out. But Ziorid, he survives just long enough to be able to pick up 1. But now there's a lot of information relayed about where these Headhunters players could be.
Is it really worth it to go for these early trades when you're in such a situation? Because at the end of the day, being equal in numbers, when losing at least 1 out of the 5 on the CT side, I think it favors the D side most, you know, because now you can expect that at least there's a spread out across the map. And in this instance, Headhunters seem to be equalizing the scales by having 2 on each end. Obviously, Detour might want to make sure that mid is cleared out before anything happens. Therefore, Budapest 5 call here to push on towards the A site. Maybe the worst they could be making, but without information, they can't really know that. Coolio's job about keeping them busy towards B is ever so important, does do damage. That means that Detour, he has no idea when he wants to go. Suplik, he doesn't have all the information in the world. Now he has a lot of utility being thrown out, and now needs to be collected by Mestor. They're going to let him push right past, flash out. That's going to be a clean pick. Can deliver with a second. He does. Corey does shut him down eventually, but Coolio